Sorry, it's a huge lizard.
I
My
know, I
lizards
saw
are
that thing.
growing in my neighborhood.
I could see that thing growing out of here, and I thought it was a little iguana.
I was playing catch with Cross the other day, and I was embarrassed that my like what? Did something move behind me?
You should be more used to the lizard.
It was just this honking lizard.
They're getting bigger. The bugs are getting bigger.
Growing.
The lizards are getting bigger.
They're growing. Maybe we're getting smaller. Maybe that's what's happening.
You know, George. They say George Washington, and this is a fact that I might be completely wrong.
I've never known you to give wrong facts.
Okay. So George Washington, from what I understand, was like just as tall as Abraham Lincoln when he died. But George Washington died of old age. Like, so Abraham Lincoln's known as like he's this massive tall president.
Right.
But George Washington was like only slightly shorter than him, from what I understand, at the time of his death. But you shrink as you get older.
Yeah.
So if Abraham Lincoln would have made it to full life expectancy, he probably would have shrunk and been shorter.
R.I.P.
Than, I know, too soon. He might have been shorter than than George Washington.
I can't corroborate fully, but I have heard some of the specs on George Washington. Like he was a redhead.
What?
From what I heard, he's a redhead. He was like tall, like you're saying, like taller than we give him credit for.
No way.
Like wooden teeth, and like just kind of a
Shane gnarly looking dude.
Shane Gillis has a good bit about it. Yeah, like they were like, yeah, but, we always kind of like it's like all plucky, like we win the Revolutionary War and there's fiddles and things. Like no, it was a maniac running around the woods, like a 6'6" wooden toothed ginger lunatic with a sword. And I think the Brits pretty quickly were like, I don't want this anymore. Let's go home.
You don't want this smoke.
You don't want anything to do with George. And with that, we welcome you to the podcast.
Have you been listening the whole time?
They were here the whole time. Yeah, we let them in. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Tim, that's him. Anthony, that's me.
Yeah.
You're here. It's the Bible is Funny podcast. And there's so many exciting things going on with the Bible is Funny right now. Like, it's a wild time. I'll start here.
Oh, yeah, the game, yeah.
I'll start here. This is the Bible is Funny card game volume
2.
Volume 2.
You should have done like the 2, like they do in like 2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians. Maybe Rob can like put in like a huge like Roman numeral 2 at this part.
See, that would really up the production value.
Right now. I don't know if he did it. Anyway, the Bible is Funny card game volume 2 is available for pre-order right now. Check it out. You get some really fun stuff if you pre-order. You get some house rules that you can utilize at your house to play this game and make it fun. And you get some fun action cards. And that's only if you pre-order. You got to pre-order to make that happen. Very thankful to people that pre-order because it helps us know how many games to order. It's very helpful. So we also gave you a little incentive. So please check that out.
And again, I've said this before, and I'm not trying to sell your stuff.
No,
I would never do that.
You wouldn't.
I have no vested interest. Mm-mm. It's a fun game, but also it's sold out multiple times last time.
Sold out.
Pre-order. It's a smart thing to do. You're gonna get the game anyway. Just do it now.
Get it early.
Get it for the summer, for whatever you got to do with your kids, with your family over the summer.
Going on a road trip.
God knows you're gonna be inside because it's hot.
You're gonna off. You're in Florida
this
for sure.
A non-sweaty game you can play.
That's right. Speaking of getting sweaty, Tim and I are doing some live shows.
Why are we getting sweaty at the show?
You know how you get on stage. He's wearing 5 shirts when he's up there. That's not true. I don't want to spread internet rumors like that.
I do sweat during the show.
Not too bad, though.
It's the lights, the face, and the bald head. They all kind of collect the sweat.
We've worked with some sweaters on stage, and I wouldn't say you're one of those.
Oh, thanks.
But I'll tell you who is. Our good friends Josh and Andy from Ninjas or Butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be touring with them. We've got some dates in Florida. We're going to be in Tampa and be in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And you can get tickets right now. This is just going to be a night of merriment and mayhem. I'm really looking forward to it.
Sounds like we're doing a pirate show.
Maybe we are.
We're not.
Show up in pirate gear. Or at least have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, have it in the car.
In case you need it. Anyway, I'll put those 2 links in the show notes. Pre-order the card game, tickets to the live shows with us and Ninjas or Butterflies. And it's just a time. It's a time for Bible is Funny right now.
What a time to be alive.
Lots of fun stuff going on. And not the least of which is a Christian movie we're going to review today. That's right. This is the segment we call Christian Movies Are Funny. We're going to dive in and discuss. We have consumed a film separately. We are going to discuss it now on the podcast. The film we are discussing today is the 2020 Christian animation film. Is this our first animated movie? I think it is.
It sure
It's
is.
our first animated movie.
Gonna be our last one.
Christian animation film, Finding Jesus. Finding Jesus. Tim, what do we need to know about the 2020 film Finding Jesus?
Well, we already know it's an animated film, and that's a good start.
Yeah.
So it's really meant for the kids. I wouldn't watch it with your kids. Sorry. We'll get to it. It's gonna be a lot of repairing of thoughts and ideas you're gonna have to do if you do watch it with your kids.
Sure.
And they will be bored. They will walk out in the middle of it.
Of your house.
Of the house, they're done. If you think they're, I'll stop. I'll stop.
Yeah.
Here we go. Finding Jesus, released in 2020,
2020.
mid-pandemic,
Yeah.
early pandemic. They anticipated it. We're gonna be in the house. We gotta stay. We need entertainment.
We needed hope.
We need low
needed joy.
budget entertainment. We needed hope and joy and some cuddles.
Yeah.
This is a written and directed by, I thought it was two people because of how many names there were.
Okay.
Jason Ronald Alex Wright. But he just goes by Jason Wright. But yeah, that was just one name. I was
okay.
like, Jason Ronald and Alex Wright. No, that's one person. Written and directed by him, so that's how you know it's good. But it doesn't star him, so he doesn't hit the trifecta of awfulness.
So close.
He still found a way to make it bad. This movie stars Angie McPherson as the narrator and also Joy. She's the bluefish.
She's two voices.
She's multiple.
Okay.
Many people play multiple voices here.
Yeah. Yeah. If they're already in the studio, why not just have them read for multiple parts? It's just efficient.
Yeah. Paying them $20 an hour, might as well get the most out of them. KJ Schrock as Professor Shark, Mr. Sushi, and Bootcakes, the manta ray. But KJ died in 2022.
No.
Yeah. We're getting to this point in a lot of our films.
2 years later.
Yeah, but he has done a bunch of voice acting work. Like there's a lot of looks in digging through IMDb as deep as I ever want to go.
Yeah.
There seems to be like a connection of all these folks that do these like really low budget animated films, and they do the voiceover acting work and stuff.
Typically faith-based, or is there...
I didn't. Yeah, it looks like it, but also they just look like cheap ripoffs of like. There's like a Kung Fu Panda one that's like Panda Chops.
Okay, perfect.
Somewhat like Finding Jesus, the non-Finding Nemo story. But I don't know if you got this, but I got a little bit of like, it sounded like a little bit of a cheaper version of like a B version of John Lithgow. I don't know if you got that.
Which voice?
With the shark.
With the shark.
Anyway.
Yeah, I could get there
kind
with the
of
shark.
this weird British, but not British. Like he had in Third Rock from the Sun.
Oh, yes.
Actually, that's what he has in real life anyway.
Yeah, I'll affirm that. I'll affirm that comparison.
Don't watch the movie to go find that out, but you'll find it out in the first 5 minutes and you can turn it off.
Just for that.
This movie also stars... stars is a funny word. Sarah Taylor as Muggles, the yellowfish. Also done a lot of voice acting work. Darren Richardson as Pickles. He's...
Yeah.
So he has done a lot of kind of voice work in bigger films, but he was in like Lost. He was in This Is Us.
Oh, wow.
I know, he has a reputation. Also stars Victor Merchant as Henry the Crab and Tina Schuster as Mrs. Woodley, the octopus with 5 legs.
Starfish,
the floating
maybe?
starfish.
Starfish with a pronounced head.
Yeah. Yeah, that also hovers.
Yeah.
Like, not a starfish that does that.
Mom and Dad's starfish have an octopus milkman, and there's a tough conversation coming, was my takeaway from that character. Because it definitely has 5 legs, but it has an octopus's head.
And floats like an octopus.
And moves like an octopus.
And was kind of purple. So
It was-
it's obviously the octopus color. Everybody knows that. Anyway, that's what I got for the technical stuff.
So much info. That's great. That's great. Thank you. Do you have a summary?
I do. It's,
Please.
It's easy, but the IMDb synopsis says,
Okay.
two friends, Muggles and Joy, spread faith and hope in a number of isolated encounters which reinforce basic biblical values.
Yeah.
It sums it up.
Yeah.
And it is a number of isolated encounters.
Oh, yeah. I'm
didn't-
actually not mad at all at that summary.
Yeah.
That is like what you're about to be.
Right. This
Experiencing.
wasn't one of those synopses that were written by the director trying to go,
No.
oh, check out what I made. And it's an experiential tale of two friends finding their
Right.
souls.
Right.
And, like, no, that didn't happen.
That did not. It was a series of
It might be what
isolated
you wanted to
incidents.
happen, but it didn't happen. It was a series of
No.
isolated incidents.
That is not an aspirational synopsis. That is an accurate synopsis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. No fluff.
No fluff. All right. Well, let's jump in. Let's discuss. Again, this is if you're new to the podcast, this is our process. We have both watched this film separately. Tim does a great job giving us some context what went into this, which leads to this moment here, which is, and I'm going to shift it a little bit. I've actually been thinking about this particular part of this segment.
I'm
And here's-
sorry. We haven't discussed
We haven't
the
discussed
shift.
this at all, but I want to. This is what I'm going to say. We are discussing because this is part of a conversation we've been having offline. Occasionally, Tim and I talk not on the podcast, not much, but sometimes. And here's the thing: what we're doing today with Christian Movies Are Funny, and what we always do, we go in on the movie and we break it down. What was created and what we consumed, we discuss here on the podcast. This is in no way a reflection of the people who made this film. This is not. Don't be mean to them. Don't be. Don't. This is not about them. They did their thing. Which is made a movie, which is a fun project. It's a fun thing to do. This isn't about that. This is about the movie Finding Jesus. That's what we're discussing here today. So I just want you to know there's a separation here. This is not about the people involved. People have passed away. My goodness.
Yeah.
This isn't about that. But their work remains with us.
But their collective work sometimes is bad, and we need to.
And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is about them. I think they're nice.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Even the one with 8 names.
Yeah.
He's 8 times
Probably.
as nice as most people.
Swell fella.
He's got so many names to represent. That's got to be funny, by the way, when you're like having that kid and you're talking with people like, where do you think we landed on a name? Oh, what is it? Robert, Roy, Richard, Joseph, Lionel.
Oh, I thought you
Smith.
said a name.
What do you think? It's like, well, I went to school with 2 of those names and they were not cool, but one of them was. So maybe it's a strategy. You kind of throw all the names at the wall and then you let your kid pick their favorite one out of the 5 that you've given them. Mm-hmm. Anywho, I digress. So that's what we do here. We're going to break down the movie Finding Jesus. We have not discussed it together. We're going to discuss it together now with you.
Except a little bit through text.
A little bit
Me yelling at
text,
you.
which I posted.
You did?
If you
gosh.
follow at The Bible is Funny. Just to get everybody hyped for this movie. Okay, so from here on out, we are going to dive into the film with spoilers. The movie is an hour long, and you'll be pleased to know there is a Finding Jesus 2 that is 45 minutes long. I'll put a link. We've only done Finding Jesus 1. That's all we're going to discuss today. I'll put a link in the show notes. It's for free on Tubi. And if you would like to watch that film with no spoilers, you may do that now. If you are okay with spoilers, just hang out for a second while we let our friends who don't like spoilers make their way out through the back of the class. Okay, great.
I hope you just left to watch the trailer. That's all you need. You don't need to watch the whole movie. You can understand how obnoxious this is just by watching the trailer, which is what I did. And I said, Anthony, there's no way you're serious. We cannot watch this movie.
have to.
I'm going to lose my mind. And he said, it's all in the Lord's work or some bogus garbage thing you do to talk me
That
into
sounds
this
like
stuff every single time.
That sounds like me. Here's my synopsis of Finding Jesus, the Christian animated film. Just as the ocean remains 95% unexplored, Finding Jesus presents as an uneventful children's faith film, but may also be the most powerful visual allegory of our time. We are first introduced to Professor Shark, an obviously drunk apex predator who has taken 2 young, vulnerable fish under his fins. And yet, while he boldly sends them across the open ocean to aid marine life in need, he refuses to let them cross the threshold and actually enter into Bubbletown. Perhaps a poorly voiced cartoon shark, or perhaps a portrayal of the systemic glass ceiling built by those in power, refusing to share that power with others. Later, we meet Scary Henry, a smiling crab, perhaps a byproduct of an inability to animate any other facial expression, or perhaps an example of how the infiltration of social media has plastered fake smiles and curated aesthetics, yet we all can't seem to escape a sense of overwhelming dread over what lies just beneath the surface. Later still, we meet Patty, a whale without a blowhole. Perhaps an oversight of basic marine biology, or perhaps a commentary on how even those characters in our society that seem large and powerful are operating without the tools necessary to identify and fulfill their most basic needs. There is a chance, of course, that this entire movie is just a kid's story about 2 fish friends, Muggles and Joy, reciting entire chapters of the Bible to each other in a sequence of conversations with anatomically incorrect marine creatures. But I think the ocean setting is our clue that there is more going on here than meets the eye. If only we would be so bold as to plug our noses and dive in.
I can't. That's the most deep you've ever written about any film we've done.
This thing really struck me, this movie.
I see that. You were moved.
I want to talk about, because I think it started some important conversations that other movies are scary to start, or they're scared to start.
Oh my gosh. Can I start? There was some... looking at some of the reviews on IMDb, those,
yes, please.
Those made me laugh.
Yeah.
And first one I saw titled "Atrocious and Misleading." They don't find Jesus at all in this. I was very disappointed in that regard. They don't.
Which is true.
This is some sort of religious, super religious Finding Nemo ripoff film that looks and sounds dreadful. Not even the kids will enjoy this fish poop. Next one says, doesn't even qualify for "it's so bad it's good." Was really hoping for some good laughs when I watched it, but was severely disappointed. Didn't even finish it. To that, I'm jealous of this person. Last one I'll read. The title is "Kill Me Now." Dear reader, I would like to state the immense feeling of utter dread and pain that this movie made me feel inside mine human heart. I cannot even fathom the amount of brain cells that have died utter dreadful and painful deaths inside mine brain. I shall now proceed to jump outside my window in the hope that Jesus will save me from this complete and utter abomination. Yours truly, a broken man.
Wow. Wow, that's pretty good.
Well said.
Yeah.
That sums it up. I think we're done with the podcast
is
now.
Based. What was something, Tim, these are our questions we're going to do to explore the big open ocean of finding Jesus. What was something that was shocking to you about this movie?
I think you might have been kind of getting there, but how disturbed I felt after the interactions these kids had with Professor Shark.
It's very unsettling.
And it kind of seems like he was sort of grooming these fish.
100%.
And
there's definitely a visual nod when Predator is...
Right. I was going to say, it doesn't help that Joy, mentions the word predator, too. There's predators all over the ocean, and here you have a shark with little fish going, "No, it's okay, fish. You go out and make sure you do what I tell you to do, but you stay pure. You stay pure in heart." Huh?
And then him not ever... There's nothing going on weird in Bubbletown. Don't ask what's going on in Bubbletown. He is standing on the threshold of Bubbletown, which looks like a very fun place for kids to play, and he will not let Joy and Muggle in. Muggles will not let Joy and Muggles into Bubbletown.
Yeah, but that feeling of oh, this feels icky.
The ickiness of it, yeah.
Right, very early too.
Right. Ugh. Yeah, right from the jump. I couldn't place the accent Professor Shark was doing Professor Shark was my character I wanted to see less of, if I may just sort of go off what you started. I could only read it as drunk. This is the only thing. It's like a. Why can't I place it? Oh, because it is a thing that is drunk. It's an accent that is also inebriated. That's the only thing my brain could. My filing system was like, we don't have they're opening manila folders. Like, it's not British. Like you said, it's not quite English. Why is he fumbling over all of his words? What professor? Where was he a professor? Was he sent out of the college he was working at? Was there some sort of disgraced?
Well, at school.
For children.
The fish.
Little tiny.
School.
Anyway.
Of fish.
I jumped ahead on that one, but I will also go back and say what was shocking to me, which is the character of Sushi. Had to be. Again, let's talk about basic visual. We're underwater. We're dealing with fish. We're dealing with dolphins. We're dealing with whales. And then there is a piece of a roll of sushi that is a character named Sushi who swims naturally. And also it has fish eggs on top of himself as he discusses biblical truth with the fish. And that really only, like, that is the description minus the racist accent that I haven't touched on. Which was just the most, like, this was straight out. I feel like the Trey Parker and Matt Stone from South Park would have watched this and gone like, I don't think you should do that. That feels too far.
Yeah, well, what's funny is that I wrote him as my character to see more of.
I mean, it was the most, like, you're kind of getting through and then this character showed up and you were like, oh, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I wrote, like, but what is Mr. Sushi? Like, he's a dead raw fish that also swims in the ocean and it can talk. So is he kind of like a ghost to these kids?
With fish eggs on top.
And he's got the little, and yes, the Japanese accent that's could be generally offensive to most people.
Right.
But you know, whatever. An accent's not offensive. It's borderline. It's
I mean, at the end of the day, his presence in the film was just to teach the kids that when they make a bad decision, the consequence of their sins will weigh heavily on them. And that's what he clearly articulated in the film.
He did. His words.
That's Mr. Sushi speaking there, of course.
Yeah.
It's a direct line. I said Shark for Professor Shark. Character I want to see less of. What do you have for...
character see less of the narrator. The narrator can't figure out whether she's British or Australian or at times Jamaican, like, and on that same same, like, it's just very forced Australian accent that was just way over the top.
Yeah,
and I can't figure out whether it's Cockney or Australian, mate. And it's like David Cross trying to do that and like do a bit in Arrested Development.
Right,
like it's just close and adjacent to some of these. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Honorable mention for me was Rosie the seahorse with her accent.
Oh yeah.
That like sort of that accent, the voice that is it's like baby talk, but with a New Jersey accent. Like it was disturbing.
And clearly an adult doing baby talk.
Yeah, and I've seen some of there's a kid show that my girls watched for a while, and it's the most obnoxious annoying. It's like all adults doing baby talk,
right?
For all these kids, like baby voices and stuff. It's so bad.
Which I feel okay saying because there's a skill to it. Like Tommy Pickles was voiced by an adult.
Yeah, you can sound like you're young,
a baby,
but not do baby talk.
I thought we were friends.
We all shucks. Mister, like, don't do that every time. And like when you're an adult, when every kid is like that, like kids don't talk like that.
No,
not all of them. Some of them do, sure, but
yeah, that's all. That's all very fair.
Everything's fine.
Rosie was tough. You said you had Mr. Sushi as character you want to see more.
You had Mr. Shark as your character.
Professor Shark, please.
Sorry.
Get his PhD be disrespected like this. Character I wanted to see more of was Scary Henry, who is presented as his full name is Scary
Henry.
And he is just a crab with a huge smile on his face. like the biggest smile you've ever seen in your life.
The introduction of Scary Henry, I don't know if you picked up on this. It was like Scary Henry, Scary Henry, Scary Henry, Scary Henry, Scary Henry. Yes, Scary Henry.
Everyone was talking about it.
Everybody like just says Scary Henry like 6 times in a row.
He's a bright red crab. I mean, think Sebastian from Little Mermaid, just like the brightest, most vivid character, big old smile on his face, and he was Scary Henry. So the character I want to see more of is like there has to be a reason he gets the scary. Like, we don't get into it because, of course, there's only so much backstory you can do in a film like this. But there has to be something here. Like, what did Scary Henry did some stuff, is what I'm saying. Scary Henry has been involved in some things to get the scary reputation, and that's what I want to see more of. I want to see us dive in. He's also got he makes a couple jokes, which I didn't hate. Something about, like, life stinks worse than whale gas, something like that. I don't know that that's a problem down there. I don't know if a whale farts in the ocean, if that's like, to me, that's a bubble that goes up to the sky. But I don't know. The 95% of the ocean is unexplored. So I don't think any of us know. Scary Henry was scary. I want to see more of.
Yeah.
All right. Next category is, of course, character that reminded you of me.
Mm-hmm. This was surprisingly easy. It was Fizzy the Blowfish.
Oh gosh.
Like, and hear me out. Not trying to be super offensive, but Fizzy was a good friend.
A good friend.
Caring, thoughtful, fun hang. People want to hang out with her.
Yeah, sure.
She's a little forgetful.
Right.
And she makes plans. She kind of forgets what day it is.
Yeah.
And that seems to be a thing that could happen to you sometimes.
I mean, yeah.
But all of those traits, they work out. And
Fun.
then she's like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. And then sort it out. But it was never with like ill intention that she was being a jerk.
She was looking forward to the play date.
Yeah.
She just thought the play date was the next day.
Well, because she thought today was the different day.
Yeah, she thought she got her days wrong. She's really a very stupid character in the film. She gets caught on everything.
She's just focused on other stuff that is more important. Like the facts of like, what day is it? Okay.
Yeah.
She's just focused on like being present with somebody, not paying attention to what day it is.
Right. So you have to do that as a blowfish because otherwise you'll get all stressed.
Yeah.
Pop right out.
So that was most like you in only the best ways. I don't think you've ever forgotten completely what day it is, but
definitely. I mean, only in the windows where we all do. Between Christmas and New Year.
Oh my
where
gosh.
it's like December 29th and you're like, might as well be schlablobly 48th. I don't know. What are we doing here with days? Mine for you, I was pretty happy with. I said Marlowe the swordfish.
Okay.
A couple of reasons why.
Okay.
One, I liked Marlowe's story. His story was my favorite from the group because he had the highest stakes. It was actually like there was something kind of going off in me because Professor Shark and Muggles and Joy are chatting and they discuss. First problem is Scary Henry is bummed. And we knew to go cheer him up. And you're like, oh, okay. And then the second one is like, Marlowe's trapped and probably drowning. Probably dying right now. And they're like, oh, that sounds like an issue.
They keep talking about it.
They keep talking.
Just keep talking.
Like, Marlowe is actively drowning. That's what you just told me.
Right. And the Professor Shark knows about this ahead of time, before the kids get back. And he's like, yeah, I heard about this incident where this fish is essentially drowning.
Which is why, like, something's going on in Bubbletown. That Professor Shark cannot leave that post. Because if the wrong person gets into Bubbletown, like... Marlowe, your friend, is probably drowning. He can't swim. The water can't go through his gills. He's dying, potentially. That's all the information you have, and you're not leaving the post. There's something crazy. What is going on in Bubbletown? Tell us. So I said Marlowe because one is just he just had the most flair to his story, that there was the best stakes, and then two, at the end of the day, he just takes care of his own problems. He's just like he's just taking care of himself,
right? Because the kids get out there and then
they swim as fast as they can. It's two tiny tropical fish. I don't know; these are not known to be the fastest swimmers. And they get to Marlowe, and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, I figured it out. Like, I don't. Thanks for coming, I guess, but like this is sorted out. I didn't need you." And I think you're a resourceful guy.
I received that. Thank you.
You're always taking care of business. This is going to be tough. Try to think of one single low point in the film.
Okay, so I started writing, like, just from a storytelling perspective, this, like, opening 5 minutes of Talking Heads was tough. Like, I mean, it's like 6 minutes
Yeah.
of, like, they're just discussing a thing, and I thought, man, whew, that's rough. It's actually the whole movie.
That's it.
Because the low budgetness of it,
Yeah.
it's so low budget that the narrator actually talks you through the action scenes, the things that actually happened, the things that took place, where you might get some animation and movement, little physical movement of characters.
Right.
The narrator talks through those because they didn't have the money to have anybody animate this thing.
Right.
Because the fish just float. They talk and they float and they do this repetitive.
And the mouth
motion.
is roughly in tune with the
Yeah, I
words.
mean, you know the fish is talking. You know who's talking. It doesn't matter. But they're just floating here talking.
That's it.
And the whole scene is exposition. Like it's just
That's it.
just three characters
That's
or two
it.
characters talking. Mm-hmm. And then they move on to the next one. And by move, I mean like a bunch of bubbles flash on the screen and then they're in a new location. So you literally I don't know how much time was spent actually animating, but it couldn't have been too much. So they talk about everything they did, and then I don't want. I have kind of an honorable mention, but it's all in the same vein.
Oh, okay.
And it's just about like the plot hole, the logistical plot holes, like you.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like the whale with no blowhole. That's that's an oversight. We missed that. But like Mrs. Woodley mentions the Good Book and how I don't know how she has access to a book underwater. Usually when I put a book in water, it eventually falls apart.
Didn't even think about that.
But then the other piece of like,
So true.
they're talking about Jesus a lot,
Yeah.
which is great. This is obviously like
it's
you
the
can
whole
ignore
point.
some of this stuff, and I don't want to get too picky here, but how did Jesus come to save the fish? Because it's not. They all recognize that they are fish and they're not people.
Right.
But then they're talking about Jesus, like the physical person of Jesus, not even like,
Well,
hey, here's like morally how we should live and whatever. But they're talking about Jesus. We're finding Jesus here. And I wondered if it was like, do they like Jesus because he spared like lots of fish from being slaughtered when he fed the multitudes?
well,
So there was like only 2 fish that actually died, but
that's
man,
where my brain went.
Yeah.
Is like, I wonder how Jesus would be received by the fish community.
Right.
Because while that is true, and that comes to mind, he also, like, his buddies were fishing all night and they didn't catch anything. And then he was like, go pull up all the fish over there.
Yeah.
And then unalive those fish. And so I just wonder how the story would hit fish ears. It's something I've not thought about. And I yet another tough question that Finding Jesus sort of makes us consider. I mean, at one point, you have to kind of connect Jesus and God. The Nile turns to blood. All the fish die.
Gone.
There are certainly stories that are bleak for fish in the Bible, is what I'm saying. And I just think that would be, I wonder how that would jade maybe they just have like kind of this like super understanding of, universally what's going on and
man.
they can really appreciate it.
I don't know why you didn't bring this into the depth of your introduction, because
It's a lot.
now I feel that about myself.
It's a lot to think about how the fish would receive it if it were a book that could be underwater with them. Oh, that's very funny. I'm going to say my low point. This is so specific. But by and large, it's kind of like, I don't know. The whole thing kind of presents a bit like a puppet show, to your point of like, there's no action. It's just a thing talking and another thing talking. And I guess one thing I have to say is they accomplished that. There was a fish talking to a fish talking to a shark. The bubble did the thing. You found that like, this is what you landed on and this is working. But then at one point randomly in the movie, there's a shot of just of just animated coral bubbling for like 6 seconds.
Yeah, it was like they pulled some stock footage from somewhere else, like stock animation, and there was a couple of different shots that were very similar. Like they pulled them from the same.
Right. And there was some with like an actual turtle, like a real turtle.
Well, this like robot turtle going.
Yeah. there was the turtle, and that was kind of like, okay,
Like the rendering was lagging.
That's an element you've incorporated. But there was this one pronounced extended sequence that I was just like, I think you just forgot that was in there. I think that genuinely feels out of place. Like, for whatever your take is, we'll get to our end in a minute. That part felt like you didn't mean to do it. It just felt like it got left. So that was my one low point I could identify. How about a high point, Tim?
The parts I laughed the most at were the awkward and extended laughs by Muggles.
That's what I would do. Yes. Muggles' insane laugh.
And then the scene cuts. I love those. I laugh so hard.
I was like, what?
I don't think it was intentional, but I love awkward stuff, and that it made me laugh.
And it was almost like there was some comedic timing to it, because they would hang on that animation like the extra second. Cut to joy. It was like, wait, do you know that's weird?
Yeah. I liked it.
I
also
had laugh for sure.
I had kind of a personal high point, which had really nothing to do with the film.
Yeah.
But at the end, when I saw the credits, this is gonna be a little. This is a deep one.
Okay.
There's layers to it. So the executive producer, his name was Tom Wilson.
Okay.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Which is very close to the, I don't know if you remember this, the John Travolta-ized name that you could do. Remember when he introduced Adina Menzel as Dildazim? You could go online and type your name in, and it would John Travolta-ize your name. This is what the internet's good for.
Yeah.
And my name was Tom Wilson. And this one is Tom Wilson. And I thought that made me laugh. It brought some things up from a long, long time ago.
That's great. Yeah, I just stuck with Muggles' insane laugh. That was my only high point I could identify. How many raised hand emojis out of 5 do you give Finding Jesus?
I give no fins up for this. There are no fins that can. This was painful and brutal and bad, and there was no movement or anything. At one point, Mr. Flips, I think it was the dolphin, shows the power of a close-knit church community by highlighting the fact that everybody has already been gossiping about the kids lying in impure ways.
Yeah.
And that I was reminded of in this film, the purity stuff was in there. Like it was cringy. It was weird.
Yeah.
The story didn't move. It was all these separate stories that happened, and the kids were annoying, and the accents were awful. No offense. Forgot we weren't supposed to disparage the dead.
Pause. Well, we're not, like I said, the people involved.
Yeah.
I have no reason to believe.
Yeah.
You set out to do something like this with good intent. You're probably trying to provide a free resource. You made it. You did it. Mm-hmm. It's not right. It's not correct.
Yeah. And I would say, no parent should make their kids watch this, but it's not parents that are making their kids watch. It's the grandparents that are like, I've got a great idea.
Yeah. Quick Tubi search, and they're like, it's a
This
cartoon.
looks like that Finding Nemo movie that all the kids were raving about. Give them this Finding Jesus instead. That'll get them straight to heaven.
It definitely says something when you fly so close to Disney's copyrighted material and they just go, gah. Gah. Honestly, it's fine.
We're not going to shut you down.
It's not even worth. And that is what happened here. So that says something. I'm also fairly convinced, obviously people think there was COVID, churches weren't able to gather, a lot of questions about what sort of caused a spike in a deconstruction movement. I'm not sure this didn't play a role. If this was shown to a kid that later deconstructed, I think we all gotta go yeah. Later on, they had to rethink some stuff. So you cannot give this. You can't. I'm sorry. Everything you said is true. These animals are repeating I mean, I don't think on Cheat Day Devos, our other segment, we literally read 2 full chapters. I think they were doing more in this film. Dolphins are reciting more KJV Bible passages in their entirety than we do in our podcast where we just read the Bible. It's so much, and it's just a great case of I think probably people with great intentions making something that just especially with all that was going on in 2020, we didn't need it.
You're skirting around the answer, Ant.
It's 0.
Okay,
it's absolutely it's 0
Thank you.
stars.
We
only question worth really talking about in this category is, do you consider it a worse movie than Gramps Goes to College? Because that's what was in my mind. Because the title of worst movie we've watched on here, to me, is one I'm very serious about. I don't want to award that willy-nilly and be with your friend who's like, oh, it's the best burger I ever had. Oh, last night was the best burger I ever had. Stop telling me, Chad, that this is the best. I can't take your burger rating system seriously. We're not going to be like that.
No.
So it is with trepidation and caution that I ask you, do you think this is a worse movie than Gramps Goes to College?
That's a tough question. It's really tough. I don't want to be put on the spot like that. Like it's certainly as poorly produced. It's a little bit less offensive. It's shorter, so we got that.
It's shorter.
So
it's
I
shorter.
think this does not get the worst title. It's the worst kids movie I've ever seen. That's for sure.
Yeah.
At any point in my life, have I ever seen?
Yeah.
Never seen anything worse for kids. I mean, aside from
we
obvious, like,
we haven't looked super hard,
right?
But
if it's labeled as a kids movie,
yeah.
This is the worst.
I think I agree with you. I think that I think I have Gramps Goes to College lower because I want to say in some technical areas, while the animation was incredibly simple, I don't know how to animate. Like, I don't know how to do it.
Right.
If this was like, you were like, look what I did. I kind of got it to look like this fish is floating and talking.
I did a thing. Now let's just draw that out for an hour and 10 minutes.
Right. And if these were episodic, if you were kind of given a way out after 10 minutes, every little isolated incident's about 10 minutes, that would have been a gift if they had done that to go. So you could watch one 10-minute one and be like,
you could force your kids to watch that, learn about some version of Fish Jesus, and then... and then go about your day. Get a snack.
So also in our fish, Jesus' sign is the fish. So I mean, listeners weigh in. What do fish think about Jesus? That just hit me. The Jesus fish.
I got it.
What if
it didn't quite hit me the same way?
Man, lots of layers to that question. Yeah, I do think I have Gramps Goes to College just because there were some fundamental. Also, I think I'm going to default to fundamental production issue where like the audio was gone. Like I don't know, these people did their thing. They did it, and so I want to say that's what to me. And they're saying it's not.
They
as long.
still made a very unwatchable thing.
It's very unwatchable, and it's tough. It's tough to be out there, but yeah, not the worst. You did it, Finding Jesus. Wow,
what a review! Not the worst.
Not the worst. I think I have my wife's thoughts. Who was exposed to this. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I didn't have it like immediately pulled up. Oh, here we go. This is Rachel's quick take. I'm watching this movie, and I was kind of moving it around the house, and so she was exposed to the dialogue. She didn't get to see what was going on the screen.
Neither did I.
She said, "What is it?"
With nothing happened on the screen, it doesn't matter.
What is that movie with the... Sorry. It's just a really good quote, and I had to write it down the second she said it. What is that movie with the fish floating and yelling Bible facts at each other? It's a pretty good take. It's a pretty good summary, to be honest with you. Okay. That was Finding Jesus.
We found him.
We did it. We did it. Oh, my word. That was a good one. That was a classic. If you have a Christian movie we need to review, please send it at The Bible is Funny. We'd love to get it and watch it because we love to do that. If you have any other thoughts on anything we've discussed today, we'd love to hear it. At The Bible is Funny on Instagram and TikTok is where you can reach us. Bible's Funny Card Game Volume 2, pre-sale right now. Live shows with Ninjas or Butterflies. Tickets available now. You can get all that information in the show notes. And thanks for watching. We'll be back here with another episode real soon. Love you. Miss you.
Okay,
Bye.
see ya.
The Bible is